Hi guys, and welcome to Lizzie Dean Makes. I'm Lizzie Dean, and this is the channel where we make, mend and grow our way to a big life on a small budget.
So today we're going to be making an eye mask because my husband decides to come up to bed after I've gone up ages ago and I'm sleeping in the dark. He comes in, turns the light on, and I say, "Can you turn the light off?" And he says, "Oh, I was going to read my book." So we've agreed that I'm going to make an eye mask so that I can sleep even when he puts his light on when he comes to bed later. So for this project I am using 2 pieces of coloured polycotton from my quilting stash in this lovely corally peachy colour. This is actually the offcuts from the quilted belt that I made the other day for the wedding, so I'll link that video in case you want to go check that out. But I have cut out 2 eye mask shaped pieces, so I cut myself a paper template first of all to make sure I got the sizing how I wanted it on my face, and then I went and I cut out 2 of the polycotton and one of, this is not actually quilt batting, it's polar fleece, because I couldn't find the offcuts of my quilt batting and I didn't want to get the whole thing out because I've got meters and meters and meters of the stuff to cut another little bit off, so I decided to just go with some polar fleece as batting. It's fine. So this is the layer that will hopefully block out some of the light. So I've pre-cut my pieces because I'm nice like that, and I want to quilt these with a sort of Chanel handbag diagonal square quilting pattern, if you know what I mean. So first things first, we need to make up our quilt sandwich and lay our pieces nicely on top of one another. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the quilting on this piece. I'm then going to cut some lengths of ribbon to tie from the sides round to the back as a bow. I don't have any ideal elastic. I've got really big black heavy duty elastic, or I've got knicker elastic, neither of which are really suitable. I've got shirring elastic which would break too easily. So I'm going to go with some tie cord ribbons and tie it at the back of my head, which should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and quilt this in a nice, I haven't even plugged my sewing machine in a nice diagonal, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I have finished quilting the eye mask in one direction, and now I'm going to go and do the cross diagonal across it to get the hatched pattern. So I have finished quilting my sort of Chanel diagonal diamonds pattern on my quilt sandwich, and I'm now going to use this bias binding. So I've had this for ages. I found it and I really liked it, but it's quite a busy pattern, so because I'm doing a lot of sewing with patterned fabrics, this would have been too busy to go in with them, so I haven't used it. But it picks out the pinks in the flowers very nicely with this coral fabric that I've used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one half of my bias binding, and I'm going to place it along the edge of my eye mask, and I'm going to sew in the groove. Then I'm going to turn it over the full edge, and I will hand stitch the other side with a needle and thread. I find that's the only real good way of doing bias binding for me. I have not found a good way of machine binding, so I'm going to do that and then I'll come back. Okay, so I realised I have lied. So the first thing I'm actually going to do before I start with the bias binding is to sew my ribbons on to the sides. So I'm sewing them so that they'll sit inwards, and then I'll bias bind over them around that way so that both sit inwards on the one side. So I will get on to the bias binding now. Okay, so I have sewed the bias binding on the first side, and I'm now going to turn it over and hand sew it all around on the other side. So there is the section here where the 2 pieces of bias binding meet, so I'm going to turn one of those over ever so slightly. I don't know if you can see this. if I fold one of them over ever so slightly and get a nice edge on it there, so that it won't fray. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll hand sew it and then I'll come back. So I've finished with the bias binding, as you can see. Now I could iron this to be flatter, but I actually quite like the way that it folds in, because it sort of curves towards my face and covers those points where it could let light through. So there you go. That is my bedtime eye mask completed. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see any other sewing projects, quilting projects, then please do let me know what you'd like to see in the comments section below. Or if you've had a go at making an eye mask like this, then please do send me a picture on my Facebook page, which is also Lizzie Dean Makes, so go check it out, or drop me an email at lizziedeanmakes@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.